And at the end of the event, everyone can ask one question of whatever storyteller they want, and then we'll vote and we'll decide if their story was fact or fiction. So with that, anyone else need to say anything before we begin?
Or forever, or forever.
Okay,
Rest.
Cristina, what's the title of your story?
The title of my story is Spring Came in December that year.
We're in
Oh,
December with you. And with that, we have the lovely Cristina Marinescu.
I
Thank you.
I'm gonna put my computer on speaker if you.
Yeah. Everyone else mute who doesn't need to be on.
Sorry, I just needed to, since I'm doing the technical part, I just needed a little bit of organizing. So, okay, welcome everyone. I'm a middle child. My parents had 3 beautiful daughters, 3 girls, and I was always in the middle. You know, the one never old enough to have the rights the big sister has, and always too old to pull the parents' strings the way the little sister does. The one sandwich in between the senior and the baby. I mean, and sometimes literally. If you have ever been in a family trip in a mid-sized car squeezed in the back seat in the middle, you know what I mean. But I survived. I survived all this because I rebelled. I never ate my spinach or my broccoli as a child, no matter how much my mama tried. I never kept my closet organized. Never. And in middle school, I even managed to have my parents called to the principal office once because I was not wearing the right uniform socks. That was my way to show them all that I had a voice, the revenge of the sandwich kid in honor of all the middle children out there. Anyway, as it turned out, this rebel attitude stayed with me over time. Fast forward, I'm 20 years old in Romania. By the way, you know, Romania, one of those countries in Eastern Europe that you never know which is which. But what made life in Romania very special at that time, that we were the unfortunate subject of one of the most oppressive regimes in the world's history, let alone the social and economic mess. What was even worse were the invisible chains that were slowly killing our spirit, our thinking, our free of expression. No one had a voice. No one dared to have a voice. If you dare, you disappear. So here I am, just one day after turning 20 in my sophomore year in college. On a dark gray December morning, walking on a dark gray street, heading to a dark gray subway station to get to school, which, believe it or not, was a tad lighter gray. The streets are unusually empty and quiet. As I enter the station, I meet a classmate. "It happens," he whispers. "What happens?" I imitate him. "Ceausescu's end. There are movements downtown. I heard they sent the army against the protesters." Right at that moment, the train stops, and the metallic voice coming from the speakers announces that this is the end of the ride. "This train is not going further. Please step out and quietly leave the station." Yep, something is happening. They don't want us in downtown, I think, while heading toward the exit. As we come out, we suddenly found ourselves in the middle of the surreal. People, many people, flooding toward the city center from all directions, unorganized, with no slogans, with no sign, no posters, but with sparkles in their eyes. A group of students passes by, holding a flag from which they cut out the dictator's emblem. It looks strange, but beautiful with that hole in the middle. "Come with us," they yell at me and my friend. "This is the beginning." I start marching with them like attracted by a magnet, my heart pumping like crazy, my thoughts bumping into each other as they frantically trying to process the reality suddenly thrown at me. It is the beginning. My friends pulled me back. "No, let's get out of here. This is not gonna end well. They'll kill us here, or if not, they'll come after us later. You know they have eyes everywhere." But I have no ears for him. I know I must go. I know this is the time to have a voice. To really have a voice. Bigger than the lame rebellion against my middle child status and the spinach in the salad. A voice for freedom. This was the moment I was hoping for my entire life. I'm walking, I'm jumping, I'm singing with them. "Wake up, Romanians! Down with the dictator! Libertate!" We are there in the middle of the plaza. Military uniforms, guns, tanks on one side, and people with bare hands on the other. Step by step, we're getting closer and closer. I stop in front of a young soldier. "You are my brother," I tell him. He doesn't seem to figure out what I try to say. But suddenly someone yells, "The army is with us!" Some of the soldiers put their guns down and walk away. Everything seemed fantastic and also so normal. But just for a little while. What was that? A high-pitched, fast-moving sound right next to my ear. Then another one. What was that? People start running in all directions because some of them recognize the sound that I never heard before. The sound of a bullet barely missing you. Still, some of the bullets do not miss. A man falls down next to me. I thought he just stumbled, but I see blood coming from under his coat. I'm running like hell, my mind screaming, "This is not happening, this is not happening, this is not happening, it cannot be the end." I'm hiding behind this garbage can. One of the kids I was matching with a little earlier is there. "We have to go back," he says. "This cannot be the end." I see it in his eyes and I know it. And thousands of others like us know it. And we all go back as one. The green military uniforms start dispersing as we chant, "We are not leaving, we are not leaving." And what I feel cannot be described in words. An immense happiness like I never felt before. I look at my new friend and try to tell me, but suddenly I feel a sharp pain in my shoulder, fast, short, and then goes away. "She was hit," I hear someone saying like in a dream. My knees are weak. The sky is falling, but its gray hue turned to blue, and it pours its light on me. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see. Where am I? Shh, relax. You are at the hospital, I hear the lady in white saying. What happened with the revolution? I ask. What revolution? I hear before blacking out again, for what it seems to be like an eternity. What a wonderful world. Where am I? I try to sit up. My shoulder hurts. Pieces of memory come back. How is my wound? I ask the lady. What wound? I was shot. I remember I was shot. Oh, no, dear. You're just hallucinating. You just fainted in a train, probably dehydration. Here, this will make you feel better, she says, and I feel a little pinch in my arm. white again. Oh, what a wonderful world. Where am I? I feel sick, motion sick. Am I in a car? I hear people talking like I can just vaguely distinguish a few words. But they are still alive. No orders. Just drop them off at the morgue. They will take care. Like it never happened. I try to scream, to take care of what? Of whom? But nothing comes out of my mouth. I feel like I'm paralyzed. Is this the end? We failed. They won. Yes, it is the end. My eyes are heavy. What a wonderful world. Voices, many voices, louder and louder. Stop the car, someone's voice echoes in my ears. You, out, it's over. Then a big commotion. I feel lifted in the air. Am I flying? Am I dead already? Then this is nice because the sun shines so warm and bright. I close my eyes to feel its touch. Oh, what a wonderful world. Where am I? Hey, sis! The unmistakable voice of my little sister, which I always thought it sounded annoying, was music to my ears now. And I hear Mom. You're at home, honey. I'm here. They are here, my mom, my dad, my sandwiching sisters. I so want to hug them, but my shoulder hurts. No, don't move, Dad says. Give time to your wound to heal. Mom softly put her arms around me. You're back, baby. After all, I'm also her baby. You made it. We made it. But you made it. You ended it. Yeah, a new life began. Freedom was born that bright, sunny day of spring in December. And that was the end.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know where to start.
Blue sky smiling at me. Nothing but blue sky do I see. Bluebirds singing a song. Nothing but bluebirds all day long. Never saw the sun shining so bright. Never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by. When you're in love, my how they fly. Blue days, all of them gone. Nothing but blue skies from now on. The sea shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by. When you're in love, how might they fly? Blue days, all of them gone. Nothing but blue skies from now on.
Amazing, Christina. Amazing.
Great song, both of you. And Christina, your story was just amazing. Can we ask you a couple questions about yourself?
Not yet. Wait. Turn yourself down, Kiki. It's so loud.
Now I'm having a problem. I'm either too loud or too soft. Is this better?
No, it's totally distortion.
Erwin, can you close the door, please? Thank you. How's this going to be any better?
No, it's super loud.
No. Yeah, something is way wacky. Any better?
What if you just use your computer speaker?
That was the problem before. I thought I would change it. So
The microphone is it's super duper loud. It's wait a minute. Talk again.
I'm off the microphone.
That's better. Yes.
Good. Okay, Christina.
Yes.
So, Christina, you live in Chicago.
Yes.
Oh, and you have a doggie.
Yeah, of course, she should be there here now. Just
Oh,
exactly now.
And I read in your autobiography that you are an IT professional. Yeah?
Yeah. I
An
started
engineer and an engineer.
And
an engineer. Yeah.
What sort of engineer are you?
I have a degree in electrical engineering, and I started as electrical engineer, and then I kind of shifted a little bit toward more software and IT stuff.
Yeah.
And now I'm teaching kids, which actually is the part of that I enjoyed the most of my life.
What are you teaching?
Technology, computer science and technology. I mean, to elementary, middle school, not high school, but it's fun. And I started with really young kids, and they are such a fun thing to do every day.
So it sounds like you're super busy. Are you teaching in public schools or charter schools?
No, it's in a Catholic school.
Catholic school?
Yeah.
And Christina has two beautiful, super duper intelligent daughters too.
You do.
Yeah.
So you only had two, a first and a last. You didn't make anybody be the middle.
No. No.
I see. You wanted to avoid that
The
situation.
middle. I didn't want the middle child.
No, I was the middle child too, with only like I had a little brother, which is even worse than a little sister because if you
Oh yeah. I guess.
I only had two for exactly the same reason. No middle child.
Mhm. Now, so what else do you do besides teach? Are you doing something else for work?
I mean, I like painting. I like to do some, painting, drawing, painting mostly because I love colors and singing with Sammy.
Of course, we know.
I owe Sammy a lot of the fun and joy I have with music.
Wow.
Definitely.
Your story was just phenomenal.
Study
Thank
writing? Did you study? I mean, this is your second language, English, and that was like so amazing.
Yeah, I was. This is why I was nervous, and I must apologize if I have some kind of things that didn't sound very English, very correctly
Oh my
English.
God, it was so fantastic.
No apology necessary. It was perfect. Yeah. And thanks so much, Christina.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you very
It
much.
was phenomenal.
I remember to press record because people are going to want to. This is going to get a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell everybody to listen to it. It's so good.
So we also always want to thank Christina because she's so often our technical mistress.
Yes.
Because she has all that knowledge. And so thanks again for that. Wow. Sammy,
What?
I think we have another story.
Oh my God. I think it's Marisa Saskarn Riis.
Do you think so?
I do.
Where is she?
Marisa.
I'm here.
Hi, Marisa.
Hi.
Wow. You have a story to tell too.
Yes.
What's the name of your story?
My story is Frank and the Sledgehammer.
Oh, how perfect. Well, let's welcome Marisa Riis. With an
Thank
accent
you.
in the middle.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. In January of 2011, I started working at the VA. Prior to that, I worked at Loyola Medical Center. I was the OB social worker, and I worked also in the newborn nursery and the NICU. And I loved working with babies and moms. It was so wonderful. But a job opening became available at the VA, and the VA had better benefits. So I went over there. My first job at the VA was in inpatient psych. And oh my gosh, I was really nervous about working in inpatient psych. The unit was called 2 South. And I thought it was going to be like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I thought there'd be a really mean Nurse Ratched. I thought the patients would be out of control. And I thought, well, maybe I would get hurt or something working there. But I was wrong. It was a wonderful, wonderful place to work. I worked with veterans who had mental illness, and I learned so much from them. And I heard about their lives, and it felt really good helping them because they've served our country. And I had a great team of the attending psychiatrists and the nurses and the other social workers. Everybody was just so supportive, and we had a lot of fun together, and we socialized after work, and it was a great team. I always felt like they had my back. And also, what was interesting is in the field of medicine and mental health, psychiatry, we use what's called the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. We call it the DSM. And, you know, this is where they list all of the different mental illnesses, all of the symptoms, and they give you how to diagnose different symptoms. And I mean, I was familiar with the DSM, but I never saw it come to life before. And working on 2 South, I saw these mental illnesses come to life, and it was so fascinating. I was really excited working there. Well, one spring, we had a new patient on our psych unit, and I'm going to call him Frank. And Frank was this huge, huge man. He was about 6 feet, 8 inches, and he weighed about 400 pounds. And he was just a big, gigantic block of muscle. And he had big hair, and he had a mustache and a beard, and he had a big, booming voice. And we were all scared of him, to be honest. And, you know, the veterans were scared of him too. Nobody in our psych unit, nobody, I mean, we had what was called a day room. And in that day room, this is where everybody hung out. They had their meals. We had groups there. They had recreational therapy and art therapy there. There was a big TV there too. But nobody was in the day room. Everybody was isolated in their rooms. Nobody was socializing. The only person taking part in all of the programs we had on the unit was Frank. And you know, and nobody said anything to Frank. You know, we kind of just let him be. But every morning we had morning report, and that's where we met with all of the doctors and the social workers, and we talked about the patients and about their treatment, and we would, you know, do case consultation. And the chief of psychiatry, I'll call him Dr. Pepper, and the assistant chief of psychiatry came to our unit for a morning report. And then they asked what we thought of Frank. And Frank was my patient, unfortunately. So I said, well, Frank is very, very disruptive to the environment. Nobody is getting any treatment. Only Frank is really kind of getting treatment, and then it's not really treatment because, you know, there's nobody socializing with him. Everybody's isolated. This was not a good thing. So Dr. Pepper and Dr. Planners, you know, they met with each other, and then they decided that Frank needed to go to a different hospital. So I was his social worker. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so hard. Where am I going to find a place that would take this huge man with anger issues? And he was known in the community. So he's been to different hospitals, but the VA was going to pay the hospital. And I guess, that's why this one hospital said they would take Frank. And I was, oh, thank God, and they gave us a time that he could be transferred over. I worked out, all the details of the transfer. We had the ambulance drivers come, and we had the police come. We have police at our VA, and some of them came to just be a presence in case Frank got out of control. And Dr. Pepper and Dr. Planners was there. And we were waiting for Frank to get out of the day room. He was participating in Bible study. And Dr. Pepper said, okay, let's just have Frank finish his Bible study. So we waited, and Frank comes out, and he sees all of us. And he has this look of disbelief on his face. He couldn't tell what was going on. And, his attending, Dr. McGillicuddy, told him that he was going to be transferred. And I thought he was going to lose it. But Frank, was very calm. He had a puzzled look, but he cooperated, and there was no incident. So Frank was transferred to a different hospital, and we were very relieved. But a few hours later, a nurse came up to me, Mike. He said, Marisa, I have to show you something. And he takes me to the back room where all of the belongings of everybody is kept, all the patients. And he shows me this shelf, and on this shelf was this. He said, you know what? I didn't give Frank everything that he came with. He left. I just took this, and we're leaving it here. And it was a big sledgehammer. And I was like, oh my God, Mike, good thinking that you didn't let him take it with him. So then we called the police, and they took it. A couple days later, I get a phone call from Frank. And Frank is like, hey, I'm missing some items. And I was like, oh, really? What items? He's like, some papers and some tools. And I wanted to say, what, your sledgehammer? But I didn't. I kept my cool. And he said, well, I'll call back later. Maybe you'll find my tools. I'm like, yeah, right, yeah. We didn't hear from Frank again, but then 2 weeks later, we get this big email from the police, and they said, be careful. Frank is lurking around the campus of the hospital. So if you see this 6'8" guy, 400 pounds, stay away from him. He has anger issues. Don't engage with him, and call the police. And they had an old ID of Frank, and he had short hair there, and he had no facial hair. He was clean cut. But somebody took a Sharpie and drew in like big hair and big mustache and beard. And this was like an all-employee email. And I was like, who does that? Oh my gosh. And I'm like, well, I guess it's the VA, so that's what they do. So that's my story of Frank and the sledgehammer.
Oh my gosh.
Marisa, thank you so much.
Oh my God. So what happened with the sledgehammer?
You have something else you want to share with us, Marisa?
What's that?
You tell.
Oh, my song?
Yes.
Yes. I'll be singing Sledgehammer with Kiki.
There you have it.
Sammy, you're muted.
I hate when that happens. Okay, do it all over again.
dream. If you just lay down your tracks, you could have an airplane flying. If you bring your blue sky back, all you do is call me. I'll be anything you need. You could be a big dipper, going up and down all around the bend. You could have a big bumper, bumping. Amusement never ends.
Sledgehammer, why don't you call my name? Give me your sledgehammer. This will be my testimony.
Show me round your fruit cage, 'cause I will be your honey bee. Open up your fruit cage, where the fruit is as sweet as can be.
Wanna be sledgehammer. Why don't you call my name? You better call the sledgehammer. This will be my testimony.
Kick the habit,
Kick the habit.
Kick the habit.
shed my skin.
Shed my skin.
This is the new stuff.
This is new stuff.
I go dancing in.
Go dancing.
Show for me.
Show for me.
I will show for you.
You
Show for me.
show for me.
I will show for you.
I will.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Marisa.
Thank
That
you.
was awesome. Oh my God.
Thanks.
Marisa.
Thank you, everybody. Oh, sorry.
You're a social worker? Is that?
Yeah, I'm a social worker.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. And are you still at the VA?
Yeah, I'm at the VA, but now I'm doing my passion, maternity care coordination.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
so
You
yeah.
got back to the babies.
Yeah, and back to the babies and the moms, which I love, love, love.
Good for you. So tell us a little about yourself. I know you have a child.
Yes, I thought I was going to stop telling how old he was. He's 30. I was a teen mom. No, I wasn't. But my boss thinks I was a teen mom, and I just let him believe whatever,
Super. What's his name?
Andrew.
Andrew. Wonderful. Wonderful. And you are one of the regular singers. You are such a wonderful singer. I've seen you grow so
Oh,
much over the years.
well, thank you. But Sammy has helped me so much.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't have been without her like really working hard with me. She had to work really hard with me.
Oh my God, I
Yeah.
can't believe you chose that song. That was the most fun song ever.
Oh,
I'm so happy you did that song, Melissa. I'm really happy because what everyone doesn't know is I was kind of going to sing it with you, or Sammy and I were going to sing it, and then I kind of got sick, and I said, well, Marissa's going to push her envelope, and she really did. You did such a great job.
yeah, it was out of my comfort zone, but it was really fun. And thank you both, Sammy and Kiki, and everybody for listening. I appreciate it.
Great story,
It
Marissa.
sounded
Oh,
great.
thank
My
you.
real question is, what did you do with the sledgehammer?
Well, we had the
Oh,
police
that's
come
gonna
and
be
take
a
it.
question for
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
Right, it is a good question
Hey,
for later.
Marissa, were you born here in the States?
Yes, I was. I was actually born in Maryland, and when I was one, I moved here. And
Uh,
my parents took me.
Bye bye, mom and dad.
Get out of here, kid.
And I grew up in Chicago.
Did you do anything else before you went into the medical field?
Yeah, I was a food microbiologist. I studied microbiology in undergrad, and I worked in the food industry. I worked with meat, with juices, and with candy. That was my last job. I worked at the plant that made the world supply of Butterfinger and Baby Ruth.
Oh, lucky you.
Yeah, I was the plant microbiologist there.
Oh my gosh, well, that's going
Yeah.
to be another story, I have no doubt.
Oh, I have a lot of stories in there too.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Marissa,
Oh,
for
thank you.
coming on and being
Thanks
our
for being on.
storyteller
Thank you.
and songbird. Sammy, who do we have up next?
I want to say Fern Potekin, but I just learned that she's got that other name that I can't, I have to.
Zimborski, I think. See, I
Zimborski?
thought her name was
It's a funny thing why I had the Potekin. That's my maiden name. Although I'm divorced, Szymborski is actually my married name. But I didn't want to. It was too much to change everything over to Potekin again. But my email was hacked into. So then I did my maiden name instead of Szymborski. That's what happened. That's why it's that. But
Okay.
my legal name is Fern Szymborski. So
Well, are you running from the law?
no,
Oh,
it's running from me. No, no, no record at all. No.
Fern, you're gonna do a story for us. What's the title?
The title is JB and Me.
JB and me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear from Fern with two names. Thanks, Fern.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for asking me to be here. It's been such a joy. Several years ago, before he was governor, I met J.B. Pritzker. And it's kind of an interesting story of how it came about. I had purchased a beautiful vintage dresser from a Jewish thrift store. I always liked going to thrift stores, and you never know what you're going to find. And this was quite a beautiful dresser. After it was delivered to my house, I started inspecting it more. And I noticed the drawers didn't quite fit properly. So I was looking underneath them, and a couple of the drawers, it had compartments. It was very slick in there. And I found old packages of nylon hose. I found some hair accessories, and I found most of all, some interesting black and white photos. So without names on it. So I didn't know who it belonged to. One of the photos that really intrigued me was of a couple. I assumed it was a married couple. I could tell from the fashions, because I've done things with vintage clothes, that it was probably from the 50s. And anyway, I kept thinking about it, and I put it aside, and why did I recognize them? Anyway, to go forward, I've always had an interest in Illinois politics. And I had read that J.B. Pritzker had some plans of running for governor, and I found it very interesting. And a lot of times when about a candidate or about someone in politics, I like to read about their life. And so I looked him up and his family. The Pritzkers are rather famous in Chicago. They're a very wealthy family, but they're noted for their philanthropic endeavors. They've given a lot to Northwestern Hospital, all over. They own a lot of property, especially around where I live in East Rogers Park. Anyway, I looked on a couple different websites of the Pritzker family, and I thought I recognized it looked like his parents in that photo. That's why it intrigued me so much. And I thought, well, I'm not sure that it was his parents, so I was thinking And then also, I did have a connection to J.B. Pritzker, a slight connection. My best friend Charlotte, who has since moved to Seattle, lived in a building on Lakeshore Drive. That's when I knew her. But they lived there many, many years. And in the penthouse lived the Pritzkers at the time. And my friend Charlotte knew them in passing. She wasn't close friends with them or anything, but her close friend, who was the manager, the custodial manager of the building, was friends with the Pritzkers. And in fact, when JB was a kid, he would, Kenny was his name, he'd go to the apartment and he even gave JB piggy banks. And would play with the children and stuff. So he's a wonderful man, Kenny. When I read more details about JB, I read about his life, especially his early life. And I found out that when he was 7 years old, his father died of a heart attack, which was a tragedy. And he was left with his mother, and he has 2 other siblings. And his mother, and it has written, it's public knowledge, I'm not giving something away, suffered from alcoholism. She had lost her life partner, she had lost her business partner, and she was lost. And she turned to alcohol, and that was very hard on the family and very hard on JB. Finally, when JB was 17, she died in a car crash, and he was devastated. I thought, well, that's another thing we have in common. My mother died when I was 17. She died of cancer. And then my husband died of alcoholism. So I was familiar with alcoholism and recovery programs and stuff like that. So I felt a connection with him. And he did say, I heard later, his campaigns on TV and public campaigns, that he talked about his mother. And he talked about that there should be more understanding among people and more mental health facilities opened up for addiction, for people who are addicted. And people should be very understanding about it, just like he was. He had to learn. So, as I said, when I looked up some more photos of his family, it did look like his parents in this photo. And I decided he should really have this photo. I'm sure he'd want it. And I'm thinking, how can I get him the photo? Well, it so happens, true story, I'm right off of Sheridan. There's a Frank Lloyd Wright house here that people can visit that the Pritzkers own. And they own other property, including the big parking garage on the corner where I live and some beautiful buildings around here. And they have a real estate office. So I had gone to that real estate office at one point when I was looking for an apartment. And so I knew of it, and I knew, that was theirs. And so I went to visit the real estate office, and I told an assistant what I had found. And I said, I'd love to get the photo to him. I'm sure he'd appreciate it, that he would love it. And so she got in touch with J.B. Pritzker. A few days later, she got back to me. In the meantime, she had taken a photo of my photo. And indeed, he said that was his parents. So I thought, wow. About a week later, I got in touch with again, and JB wanted to meet with me. He said he was coming to the Frank Lloyd Wright house, which he would visit from time to time, and it was only a block from where I lived, and that he would meet me and get the photo. And I was thrilled, I was thrilled to meet him. As I said, I admired his politics, but I also admired the family because they had given a lot. Very rich, but very philanthropic. So I met with him the following week, and when I met with him, he was not alone. Usually people like that don't travel alone, but I was still able to have a conversation with him, which I was very, very happy about. The first thing, I gave him the photo, and he was extremely appreciative of it. And we talked, and I told him my connection, that I knew about alcoholism from my husband who died from it, and that I had also lost my mother when I was 17, and I understand what that feels like. So we had that in common. We also had similar political beliefs too. And so when we talked about things, we talked about what it's like losing parents when you're young. My father died shortly after my mother died. And even though we had different backgrounds, they're a billionaire family, and I came from middle class and not wealthy, but wealthy in love, I would say. But we had a lot in common, we discovered. And we both, over time, we had developed sympathy for people who suffer from loss, people who suffer from addiction. And I was able to help others who have this affliction. I also told them I was a teacher, and I've taught college, and I've taught GED skills in a couple different schools and several colleges in Chicago. And because of what I've gone through in my life, I had a lot of understanding for my students. I had many students who had very hard backgrounds, very difficult backgrounds. And they knew from, I would talk to them, I was very understanding with them, so they'd feel close to me. I always loved all my students anyway, and I felt I could help them. And they knew anything that they told me was, between both of us. I would not tell anyone else, but I helped them when I could with various things. We both said because of what we'd gone through, we could help other people. And isn't that one of the main things we do as human beings, be able to help others, to love others? And also we were both very grateful for the life we'd been given. I became a teacher. I've studied music. A lot of great things have happened to me. And we said goodbye. And I wished him well in his political pursuits, and he wished me well going forward as a teacher. So that's my story.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Fern.
Fern, that is a fabulous, it's like a story of Clue, how we're going here and here and finding out what the next thing is, and then you found him.
Yeah, it was really something. I know. We never know, what's the next page in our life going to be, and we never know. I've always been a very curious person. That's why I love teaching, because I get to learn a lot. I learn more from my students than they learn from me, I'm sure. But anyway.
I'm curious to find out what your song is going to be.
Okay.
They say you learn by teaching, and I think that is so true. I
Yeah.
find out what I don't know.
Right. Absolutely. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. Yeah, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. Ooh, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know how I feel. Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that is what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a new life for me.
I think
Wow, that was, that was
that was
really close and we did it.
that we did it. Yeah, Fern had warned us earlier that she was having some computer issues and things were dropping out. And
My computer turned off,
there she is.
but did you get to hear most of it though? I mean,
All of it.
Everything.
oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about my
No,
computer.
no, no. It was
You did.
perfect.
It was wonderful.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
It
so
was
much.
great
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, it was
Thank
super.
you. Thank you. The best audience in the world is right here. So
Fern, are you still
You all have been sensational today.
Oh, we have one more storyteller too.
I know. And it's already been sensational. I'm
Kiki,
crying.
did you have
Fern, are
something to ask me?
No, I've been crying.
Oh. Are you still teaching, Fern?
Currently, I'm not working. I'm looking for more work. I'm also looking for tutoring because I've taught English and math in college, and I can tutor. I've taught high school students. I mean, I've tutored high school students, so
Okay,
I'm very open
good to
to.
know.
She teaches French too.
I taught him French for a song. I study French every day, but
Oh,
I that wasn't my major or anything. I just love French. So.
wow. What a wonderful thing to know. You never know who might need a tutor. Have you been doing it on Zoom at all?
No, no. I've just been applying everywhere, and I get all these notices in my email of different jobs, and I apply as much as I can. I'm not the only one out there looking, but I'm trying. So
She taught me on Zoom.
There you have
No,
it.
I did teach him on Zoom though, but he's a great student. He's a great
Great
student.
story. Fern, are you from Chicago?
Yes, I was born in Chicago. Some of my childhood was in California. I have two older sisters. They stayed in California on the last time, but we came back to Chicago. So the majority of my life is Chicago.
I see. And then where did you live during those majority of lives in Chicago?
Um, I grew up in West Rogers Park. Isn't that funny? Now I live in East Rogers Park. I lived for a lot of my adulthood. I lived downtown. I was married to a commodity broker. We lived near the Merc, so that type of work. And I taught downtown schools too. So, but now I'm in East Rogers Park, and I enjoy it. I'm right by the lake, and
Fabulous. How is
life
the
is
lake?
meant to be enjoyed.
How is
good.
the lake? Because everything I see, it seems to be eating away at the buildings.
It's coming up. There's condos at the end of my block. I'm more towards Sheridan, but it's damaged some of those buildings.
Wow.
The
Wow.
water.
Well, I loved your story, and I absolutely loved your tune.
Oh, thank
It
you.
was very fun.
I was so embarrassed when it went out in the middle, but
No, it was
you
perfect.
said you heard it. I don't.
It was all the way to the end, Fern, all the way to the end until the final, I'm feeling good. So it was fine. It was great.
It was amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Fern. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, it's a pleasure. It's a
Thanks,
pleasure.
Fern. Thanks for the story.
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Kiki.
Who's
Thank
next,
you.
Kiki?
Well, you're never going to believe it,
What?
but it is my little brother. No, my former brother-in-law, Jason Bussell.
Oh,
Jason,
I think there's a story in that.
and then he's got the Vote for Pedro shirt on, which I think is hysterical. Jason, I can't tell you how happy and proud I am to have you on this storytelling hour with us.
Well, thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me.
Oh my
I
golly!
really
wow,
enjoyed all
I
the
can't-
stories, music Sammy's providing, and your backup singing there. It's been
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Is this going to be a story about Kiki?
No.
No,
Jason
I'm
was
not going
just
to
in
tell tales like
Cancun.
that.
I didn't know where we were going to find you because he'd been in Cancun messaging me all week. I thought, oh my golly, I hope he's got a guitar and a piano there in Cancun. But you got back.
Yes, I'm glad we passed the COVID test and we were able to come back in, because then this would have been much more difficult.
Wow.
Although it can be done.
Mhm.
And speaking of Rogers Park, I think you live in Rogers Park.
I'm in West Rogers Park. Yes, we used to be in East, and then we moved to West.
Uh-huh.
You and
have a little
Fern
more-
must have waved as you went by.
Yeah, right?
Jason, what's your story?
My story is called Walking with A.
Walking with
With
A?
A? With A,
With
like the letter A?
The letter A. Yes.
And next time it's going to be Walking with B.
Perhaps.
Maybe. Perhaps. Let's hear what Jason says. Welcome, Jason Bussell.
Thank you. So this is a story about a song. And the song is a story about the song. So it's a story about a song about a story about a song. I hope that'll make sense by the end of this. But the theme is beginnings. So at my beginning, at the time I was born, by the time I was born, my father was with his second wife and had started his second family. His first wife had died, leaving him with my half siblings. But we never thought or talked about us like that. We were full brothers and sisters, and they accepted my mother as theirs. But there was a significant age gap. I was the youngest in the second batch of kids, and Johnny was the youngest from the first. 13 years difference. And it is he that this story is about. Johnny was my hero. He was amazing. An excellent guitar player and songwriter, charismatic, funny, confident, at least on the outside, handsome, spontaneous, desired by the ladies, admired by the fellas, and a wordsmith whose eloquence could rival that of the bard himself. As a high schooler in the late 70s, Johnny and his friends were a bit wild. He and the other older siblings would throw big parties in our basement that always left the area smelling funny. I remember stories of him and his friends driving to Wisconsin to buy a trash bag full of weed. Girls would climb up on the roof to get to his window and in hopes to spend an illicit night with him. He never graduated high school. He didn't have to. He had his band, and they were going to make it big. The night he won Battle of the Bands at New Trier was the second happiest day of his life. The first was when he got married. When I was 9 and he was 21, we lost my mother, and he lost his second mother. Now we had another thing in common. We had both lost our mothers at age 9. When my dad lost his first wife, he brought my mother into the family, and she did a great job of mothering the existing kids. When my father brought in his third wife, well, let's just say she didn't do as good of a job. She wasn't really interested in being a mother, and my father, to ease the pain of losing his second wife, threw himself completely into his new marriage and somewhat abandoned the rest of us. This made my relationship with Johnny even more important. He was the only one in the family who, A, I could trust, and B, seemed to love me. Things didn't work out with Johnny's band. They broke up, and he was left to work various other jobs. While working as a stock boy at Jewel, he injured his back pretty badly. One surgery to fix it led to many other surgeries. He spent a lot of time in the hospital and in rehab, but eventually he got back and regained his muscular physique. He earned his GED, took college classes, and got back on track. Johnny helped buy my first guitar. He gave me my first lessons. We would jam together. He mentored my high school band. He became a hero, idol of many of my friends. He had a way of appreciating the talent in others that we didn't even see in ourselves. He wrote songs that he wanted me to sing and make famous. Every new song that I wrote, I couldn't wait to play it for him. He'd give me suggestions, but also an inordinate amount of praise and appreciation for the creativity. Apart from the music, he was a role model for partying. He introduced us to the best pot we'd ever had, canned Hawaiian. And although he didn't use psychedelics anymore, he told us stories about his use and he listened to ours. He was the definition of cool. Johnny had his demons though. And that was another level on which we connected. We both struggled with depression. I remember at 16 when he told me, "I'll tell you about my last suicide attempt if you tell me about yours." I don't know if he knew it, but just 2 weeks prior, I had tried cutting my wrists. It was comforting to know that I was not the only one with suicidal thoughts, but it was also scary to think that I might never outgrow them. But I did outgrow them. Once I left the house and went to college, I became my own man. I escaped the shadow of a parental unit that didn't see any value in me, and I started making better choices for myself. At the same time, Johnny was descending. Only his wife knew that he was addicted to painkillers. I guess it had started with his back surgeries, but it never stopped. And when he couldn't refill his supply, he turned to drinking, and his drinking quickly got out of control. My hero was now spending his days only drinking and sleeping, not working, not playing music, not shaving or showering. My hero had hit rock bottom. The family staged an intervention. He cleaned up and bounced back. And then he went down again. His marriage dissolved. He went to rehab again and again. On his binges, he had a tendency to sneak into my father's house and hide out in the basement, drinking. Our stepmother called the police on him, charging him with trespassing. He got probation. And then he kept drinking. He missed his probation meetings and got sent to prison. He actually did okay in prison. His writing skills put him in demand, and he helped write appeals for his fellow inmates. They protected him. Then he got out, and he seemed to be getting his life back. He found a supportive community, found work, got an apartment. But once again, he relapsed. One day in March of 2004, he decided to go cold turkey and sober up. At least that's what the doctors think caused that fatal heart attack. And just like that, there was no more hope. The boy who kept bouncing back, who was so full of potential, was no more. Preparing for his funeral, I picked up the guitar. A simple finger-picking melody came out of my fingers, and I felt like I was channeling his voice, saying simply, "I'm free. Don't worry about me." I played it at his funeral. A few months later, I was messing around on the guitar. For some reason, I was thinking about Johnny. I played some of his songs, and played some of mine that I knew he liked. And then this new song appeared. I've always felt, and I've told other people, that the best times in songwriting is when you feel like you're not even writing it. It's like the song already existed, but you're the only one who can hear it, and you get to be the one, you get to be the conduit to bring it from the heavens, the ether, whatever, to share with the rest of the world. It's almost like being an archaeologist and discovering something nobody knew was there. But once it's found, the rest of the world gets to enjoy it. This time didn't feel like that. This was very much a collaboration, a creation. It didn't exist before. Johnny was there with me, and we wrote this song together. And there are a few aspects that make me even more sure this song had his input from the great beyond. For one thing, Johnny used to chide me that all my songs were in depressing minor keys and were too sad. This song uses 100% major chords. I've never written a song with all major chords. Secondly, there's a great example of assonance in the lyrics. Assonance, if you're not familiar, is the repetition of a vowel sound. I've never used assonance, and I don't think I really could if I tried. Thirdly, there's a clever reference to him being my muse, and I can see him smirking every time I sing this line. I love this song, and I'm so glad that we wrote it together. And this is the song. Saw my brother yesterday, hadn't seen him in a while. Still still was mad, I still was sad, but still I had to smile. And I asked him where he'd been, and I asked him, what's it like? And I asked him, can you describe? And he said, I'm walking with angels, I'm talking to angels, I'm living with angels, that ain't bad. So we sat and played guitars just like it was old times. I played him all of his songs and then I played him mine. Then he told me this one's brand new and I've come to show it to you. Now my brother, you've been amused. And he said, I'm walking with angels, I'm talking to angels, I'm living with angels, and that ain't bad. And I wondered if I'd ever see him again. No, I'll always hear you here inside my head. Then he took over my hands, he played these chords and arranged. He showed me another way to play, and that's a major change. And he played. So I asked him, what's it like up in that great beyond? He said, don't worry about that, we'll find out before too long. But he said, it's not your time yet, but once you know you'll have no regrets. And don't be sad, never forget that I said, I'm walking with angels, I'm talking to angels, I'm living with angels, and that ain't bad. Angels, I know you're living with angels, I always thought you're an angel to me, another guardian angel for me, that ain't bad.
Whoa, that was incredible.
Wow. Jason, that was just so perfectly beautiful, seamless, gorgeous,
That was sensational, Jason.
Thank you.
really wonderful. Thank you so much.
I really am a fan of the new word I learned today too. I had to look it up. I wanted to know if that was fact or fiction. Assonance.
Assonance.
I had never heard that word before, and I'm like thinking, oh, so it was the letter A, right?
Yeah. Another way to play, that's a major change.
Wow.
That was great. It was just great. Your guitar playing was stunning too.
Thank you. I was a little nervous, but thank you
Oh,
for.
don't be.
Oh my golly. Jason, it was just beautiful. I loved you all in the major.
All in the major. I
Oh,
can't wait to hear his other stuff. I think he needs to be on my other show, Composer Cafe, too.
I think you might be right. I think Jason should be on Composer Cafe
More about that.
and open mic and all that fun
And the
stuff.
open mic, of course. Yes.
Thank you.
Jason, I mean, yeah, it was beyond. There's a million things I could ask and say, but
You're only allowed one question, Kiki.
and I'm not asking you a question. What I want to know is, Jason, tell me about your life now. What do you do every day?
I'm an acupuncturist and herbalist. I've got an office up in Wilmette, and another one out by Superdog by Devon in Milwaukee.
Yes.
I play music. I'm consulting another healthcare company. I'm on the board of directors for the American Society of Acupuncturists. But my favorite job is being a dad. I've got 9 and 12-year-old girls, and they are the greatest things ever almost all the time.
Yeah, it's true, right? It's true.
Almost all.
It's one of
And
the.
when they're
Like a 90% satisfaction ratio, and I'm thrilled with that.
I think you learn by having kids too. It's like I can't even. I didn't think I ever wanted them, and then once I got them, it was like, whoa, life is not what I thought it was. Yeah.
wow. And now tell me, do you eat super dogs?
I opened there in August, and I've been there twice.
Okay. Okay.
I know
Have you ever
exactly
taken the
which
kids there?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, they've been there once. They like it.
Great. Tell us a little bit about your piano.
Wait, how many instruments do you play
Oh.
too?
Yeah.
I started playing piano at age 3. I picked up guitar at 12, drums at 14, and bass at 18.
So you're like a one-man band. You can go into the studio and just do it all.
I do, yes, because I could never find a bassist or a drummer to work reliably with me, so I had to pick those up. This right here is my mother's piano. She was a piano player, and it was important to her that we learn. And I am so grateful for that gift. My brother started playing at age 5, and I wanted to do everything he was doing, so my mom put me in lessons too. I'm sure he didn't learn anything in those first couple of years, but I am thrilled to have this. And now my oldest daughter is quite talented. She's just about as good as I am now on it, and she will soon surpass me. And the 9-year-old is catching up as well. And so I compose on both of these. Don't have as much time as I would like to record, but I'm sure at some point we'll be empty nesters, and I'll be back in my basement studio.
Wow. Wow. Fabulous, Jason. I mean, just beyond that, I'd love to talk to you more about this at another time.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. Sammy, anything else you want to say to Jason?
Oh, I definitely want to hear more of Jason's music, and I hope he'll consider being on Composers Cafe and coming on my pop-up piano bar.
Yeah.
And coming out to my live gig and playing too. So if you are in a mood to play,
That would
Yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
Are we ready to open it up to our interactive and question
Yes.
portion of
Now-
the afternoon? Well,
Now we are
question
open
per guest.
for
Guest, you can pick who you want to ask one question of, and we decide if their stories were fact or fiction.
so
And you
if
know how
we
to
can
raise
we can unmute.
everybody.
I think. Yeah. And does anybody have a question for any of our storytellers?
I have
Or
one.
okay, go ahead, Sam.
My question is for Cristina.
Yes.
I want to know if she still has pain in her shoulder.
I do.
Oh, okay.
My question is for Cristina too, oddly enough. What year did you move to the US?
2008.
Okay, I'm keeping track of all these answers in my mind.
Who else has
Any-
a question?
Anyone else have some questions for our storytellers?
I have a question
Dion.
for Fern,
Yeah. Okay.
but now I forgot what the word was. She said this word in her story, and I was like, what the hell does that mean? Now I forgot what it was. It
Was it
was
philanthropic?
that was it. That was the word. What the hell is that? What is that?
Oh, that means giving a lot. Philanthropists are people that give a lot of money away.
Oh yeah, I know that word, but you said, what did you say?
Oh, I said philanthropic. I was using it as an adjective. I said
Oh,
philanthropic endeavors. So, but the noun is philanthropy. The adjective is philanthropic. That's all.
oh, okay. Thank you, teacher.
She is your teacher too, Dion.
Yeah, she is.
Anybody else? Marianne, do you have a question for anybody?
I see Nita has a question.
Yes, I have a question. Thank you. Thank you for calling on me. When Marisa was telling her story about the big sledgehammer that was in the man's room, right?
No, actually, it was in
In the
room
bathroom
where,
area.
no,
Yeah.
it was where we kept the belongings of all the patients.
Okay, I'm wondering, how did a sledgehammer get that far into the institution without someone confiscating it?
Oh,
It's the VA.
it's the VA, man. I mean,
Oh,
he had ways to hide stuff. I mean, and they bring in lots of other stuff that you just wouldn't believe.
Marisa, what VA is that?
The what?
What
Oh,
VA?
the VA? Heinz.
Heinz? Okay.
Yeah, Heinz.
Storytellers can ask questions of storytellers too.
Yes. Thank you for saying that, Sammy.
thank you very much for answering.
Oh, no problem.
And I'm glad you're safe.
Oh, thank you. Now I work with pregnant moms. Well, I guess it's pretty unsafe too, that population. Not really, but.
Anybody else have a question for our storytellers? Do we know if it's fact or fiction?
I have a question for Fern and for Jason.
Okay.
Only one question.
Ah,
Yeah, either Fern or Jason, but can't be both.
Fern, that conversation that you had with Mr. Pritzker,
Mm-hmm.
what was the one key thing you remembered in that conversation?
The key thing I remember is how kind he was, and how gracious, how grateful he was to get that photo, and he was very kind to me, and showed interest in me. That was very nice. So I felt good. So I think of him as a good man, and I would vote for him again.
Thank you.
Nice.
Is that it for the questions? Are you ready to vote?
Are there any other questions? Jason? No? Rika? Hi. Tommy? No? What about Kitty? Hi, Kitty.
What is Sylvia?
Sylvia's Kitty is here.
Cute.
Okay. Well, I guess we're ready to vote. Sammy, take it away.
Okay. So our first storyteller, Cristina Marinescu. Who thinks Christina's story was true? Raise your hands. And I can't see you without your cameras on.
Oh, you're right.
Use the reactions. There's a reaction button where you can.
Yeah, I'll check the chat. If you don't want to go public with your face. Okay, I have one true.
I think it's true.
I have one true. We have 1, 2. Keep your hands up. 3, 4, 5. Oh, hi, Erwin. 6. Oh, 7, 8.
See, the reaction button works if your camera's not on. So you could go down to your reactions and click thumbs up if it's true.
Okay, wait. There's one more in the chat. Hang on. Tommy thinks yes. Sylvia says yes. Oh, that's 10 out of
I'm so
10 out of
okay.
21. We need one.
Okay.
We need two more.
I
Oh,
don't think
Deborah
it's true.
Siegel, are you playing? Fia Torres, are you playing? Sylvia, are you playing? Miriam, what did Miriam choose? Was she
Miriam and
wavering?
Susan both
Are they
say
wavering?
it's
Is that
true.
wavering?
You're doing the wave over there. Look at
It's true.
Maya's joining us from the Bean.
She says true. Maya says true.
Maya says true. Okay, well, it seems like most everybody thinks it's true. Donna's abstaining because, she came late.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
shall we ask Christina?
Yes, Christina, story true or
Christina?
false?
I say false.
You say false?
So most of it, including being hurt, was true. The only false thing, which I wanted to do it because if I would say the complete truth, would have been too easy. I was not shot. I was hit by someone with a gun, with a weapon, with a, I don't know in English, with the end of the gun.
Oh, the
I think they call it
what they call it, the
pistol
barrel of the
whipping,
gun,
right?
right? The barrel of the gun.
Yeah.
The butt of the gun. The butt of the gun.
So, but everything, all the rest, every little detail is this.
Ooh, I cried.
I thought if I could, it would be kind of too straightforward if I would give too much details of how I was.
But you were there. You were there during that uprising.
Yeah, I was there, and I was 20, and it was exactly one day after my birthday, and it was the most wonderful moment of my life before having the kids. But you know, and it was. And the terrifying moment, and it was everything else was true.
God, it was an amazing story and
Thank
very
you.
well.
It was really amazing.
It was beautiful, just seamless.
Kiki,
Yeah, tell me.
okay, now I thought that part of her story was false too,
Yeah.
but you can't, there's no way to vote
I think
half and half.
part of it's false, then the story's false, right?
Oh.
Yeah, but you know what?
How do we do that? Yeah,
We're making this up as we go
episode.
along, so you just have to, you know.
No, that's why I asked, how do you do that?
Yeah, well, that's why I said falseless, because I thought the shot maybe didn't happen too, but I thought everything.
Yeah, I didn't think the shot happened either because I thought I would have heard about that
Until
before.
we
But
get picked up like on Netflix or Hulu, we'll just do it like this, and then we'll have to figure out that little thing as we go along.
I just asked, Kiki. I just asked.
I don't know either, Dion. We're open to suggestions.
Okay, I'll think on it.
Let's do 50%.
50%. It was more. It was 75, I'd say.
No, it was like, I would say 90.
And then we have,
and including the gun, the hearing the bullet. I heard them.
I know, because I felt that in you when you said that. I got it right away that you never heard that sound before, but you knew what it was.
Didn't know what it was until she was told what it was.
Yeah. Until I saw people running
and bleeding.
And that's another thing. I don't think I ever ran with such a speed in my life. When you get.
You were so convincing through the whole story. You were very convincing.
So well told.
Yeah, it was really well told. Yes.
Okay, next we have up
Marisa.
Where is she?
There she is, up in the corner.
Oh, there you are, Marisa. Thank you. Okay, so take your hands down, everybody, because now we're going to vote on Marisa's sledgehammer story with Mr. Frankie. Sledgehammer.
I'm putting my hand, I'm doing my reaction.
Yeah, I'm going to do my reaction. So whoever thinks it's true, raise your hand.
Or put thumbs up in your square.
Or put thumbs up. I don't seem to have.
It's in your reactions.
Oh, I didn't know I had any reactions.
Down at the bottom of your screen. There's
there we go. Okay, thank you.
Oh, I got 1, 2, 3 yeses.
Yeah, I say yes. I can't find my fingers. But yeah, I say yes, and I think this is, we've only got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 no's. So what do you?
No's?
7. They don't think it's true, and everyone else thinks it is true.
No, I raised my hand because I think it's true.
Oh, yes, okay.
I
So
think
then
it's,
we have,
I think it's
I
true.
thought we raising for
I
true.
raised my hand because it's true.
oh, we raise our hands. See how confused I am? Sammy, you count. I'm not good at math.
Okay,
True.
Do it again.
I see
1,
Mike.
2, 3,
I'm
4,
good at
5,
math. I
6,
can't even
7,
count.
8, 9, 10, 11 through.
Oh, I think the majority.
Okay.
True.
Miss Reese?
Okay, Miss Reese.
Yes, the whole thing was true except for
Oh.
the names. I changed the names
Protect
for
the
confidentiality.
Protect the
Yeah.
innocent.
Yeah.
And I love those names.
So the name Frankie isn't true?
No,
Oh,
no,
only
I changed all the
be-
names for
only because
confidentiality.
Marissa, my husband had worked at a VA, and there was someone by the name of Frank there, which I wouldn't doubt that could have happened.
Well, I knew the name.
I know that guy.
I knew the names weren't real when she said the Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
I was like, she changed
yeah,
the names in the story.
Right.
Even if she hadn't changed Frankie and the Sledgehammer moved from VA. Where were you at, Marissa? In Maywood?
Yeah, I'm in Maywood.
And then Russell, my brother-in-law works at the VA downtown.
Oh, Jesse Brown. Okay.
I want to know what happened with the sledgehammer.
What's that?
You didn't answer what happened with the sledgehammer.
Oh, well, we called the police and they took it for evidence.
Darn.
Oh, was there blood and stuff on it?
No, I don't know. No, I don't think I didn't look at it closely.
It
No
just
good.
goes somewhere. Well, that was actually a beautiful story. I mean, everyone was afraid of him, but he was your guy, and you knew you were there for him when he moved. And
oh, thanks.
It's like she knew how to handle him.
He knew how to handle him.
Thanks. Well, I've been a social worker a long time, so.
She has that soothing kind of voice until she gets mad.
Right.
She's got a sledgehammer.
Don't make me mad.
She does. She still has that sledgehammer.
She still uses
Everybody that's in class with her, we've seen her mad, so we know.
Watch out.
Thanks, Marissa. It was fabulous. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Now we have Fern.
Oh, okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, true. Everybody who thinks it's true, raise your hands.
I think it's true. Okay. Sammy, you count, because remember, I'm not good at math.
Okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rika's not playing. 7, 8. Oh, 8. Okay, because that's all that raised their hands.
Me,
Tom Kozak, 9.
cousin Tommy.
Cousin Tommy, thanks for coming on. 9 out of 21.
Oh, they don't think it's true. Oh, wait, let's look in chat, see if anything's there.
Hey, Sammy, I think I'm looking at the raised hands, like the pictures,
Yeah.
and that was like 8. And then I saw other people raising their hands live. So I think all of those are saying true, right? Or fact.
I'm looking at the pictures too. I'm on gallery view and I was counting them across. So I'll tell you.
But does it count if we just raise our hand too, or do we have to use the picture?
I'm counting
Raise your hand.
pictures.
But it counts. If you raise it, it counts.
You see what I'm saying? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm counting 14.
Let me count again. Because I saw Jason had his hand up too for a minute, so he put it down. So I was also counting Jason. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
5.
13. 13 I'm counting.
Wow. So I don't see that Maya has anything up, but Tom did have.
No, but Marianne, Lynn, they have hands up. Their
Yeah, I
own
counted
hands.
Marianne. All right. Well, I don't know. Okay, I think the majority probably is saying
I
yes.
think we think it's true.
think
What do you
it's true.
say, Fern?
No, it was true. Yeah.
Really?
Hey,
The
do you still
whole
have that desk? Do you still have the desk?
It wasn't a desk. It's a vintage dresser. No, actually, I've changed dressers since then. This was some time ago.
Oh my gosh, I wanted to see it.
I did too.
Oh, it kind of fell apart. It kind of fell apart. It didn't last that long. So,
Maybe you could have called him. He would have helped you put it back together.
no.
So did you think that belonged to the Pritzkers?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It could have been, to a cousin. There's a big family. It could have been a cousin, donated it. It was at the Ark thrift store, which I don't even think is there anymore, on Lincoln, and it's a Jewish thrift store. So a lot of Jewish families contributed there.
Very good. Well, it was such a lovely story. It was very sweet and very charming, and thank you so much.
Thanks, Fern.
I thought it was true because I could see Fern doing all that stuff,
Yeah.
trying to find the governor, where everybody else would just throw the picture away.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm into details, so.
Yeah, I could see her doing that.
Yeah. And thank you for your song too. It was just beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me here. Thank you.
And last but not least,
Jason, vote for Pedro. Bussell, who thinks Jason's story is true?
Oh, I see every hand raised.
Yeah.
Wait, no, I don't see a hand raised from Miriam Golden. Oh,
Miriam and Susan.
3 hands over there.
Yeah. Got visitors. The cat's paws are up in the air.
I think it's unanimous with Jason's story.
Jason, tell us about yourself.
It's 100% true.
Isn't that amazing though? That feeling that the song comes from it's just like you're channeling. You're just a vehicle for it. Yeah.
And of course, I think you guys know his brother John was my husband, and it was very.
No, I didn't get that, but okay.
Yeah, well, because some of my family's are here. Yeah, Johnny was my husband, and I didn't have to crawl in through the window to be one of the girls. I came up the stairs, and Jason, I have to tell you that guitar picking was so much like him.
That was on fire.
I mean, that's exactly how John would play. Exactly, and the words were so much like his. It was beautiful.
I knew that it was true when he started tearing up.
Mm-hmm.
When he almost started crying, he got choked up.
Yeah.
Then I said, "Oh, this is true."
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to do that. It didn't happen as I rehearsed it, but then being connected with you all, it made it much more powerful.
It's your sincerity.
Hey, Jason, I have a question. Are you able to, did you give writing credit to Johnny? Is that something that you're able to do if someone had passed away?
I don't know. I haven't published it, but if I ever did, I would put him down as one of the authors.
He wrote it posthumous. I mean, it was like he was already gone.
Right, he was already gone, but is it possible to do that?
You can give writing credit to whoever you want.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah, that was just, I thought that was very meaningful that you felt that he was there with you writing. That was pretty powerful for me.
It was really cool.
Was really, I mean, the story and the song together, Jason, it's quite amazing.
Yeah, it was
I'm very grateful for it.
Great performance.
I'm glad you did it with us. Thank you very much. That is a keeper.
Thank you.
Keeper. Thank you. Thanks for putting yourself out there like that. I'm very grateful. Yeah.
He's a keeper, Miss Kiki girl.
Oh, he's a doll. He's a doll, and he's a fabulous acupuncturist. And I mean, the crazy thing is the man is so talented musically and such a doll and sweetie. And honestly, he was my little brother, and he still is. My little brother, my little bother, as Johnny would say. But I mean, and he's just as talented as an acupuncturist. Offices in Wilmette and across the street from Supergroup.
Thank you all for joining us today for our second episode of Fact.
Thanks,
Storytellers Fact.
Thank you, Sammy and Kiki.
Miriam and Susan, appreciate
Stories
it.
were amazing today.
Thank you.
It was an amazing
Sammy.
show.
Thank you, Kiki.
I was
Thank you,
able
everybody.
to record the show, so those of you who missed the beginning of the show, I hope that you go back and check it out and see what you missed, because every story was spectacular.
And we have our next one planned for Saturday, May 1st. And we're lining up our storytellers right now, and the theme is may we, and may we.
And so we would, if you're interested in being on our show, please just shoot us an email, a text, a message, a phone call.
And if you know Hulu or Netflix, have them give us a call. We'll figure that little part out, but we don't know how to do it.
Then we'll figure out,
It'll be a roulette wheel or something. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you coming. Happy everything. Hi, you guys. Miriam and
Thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Kiki. Thank you, everyone, for being
Thank
here.
you, Rika.
Thank you,
I
everybody.
love you, Rika.
It's a
Love
great
you,
day.
Rika.
love you, Deanne.
And happy Passover, happy Easter, happy
More.
Passover.
Bye.
Passover. Bye.
Happy Easter to those celebrating. Okay.
Bye, Lynn. Good to see ya. Long time no talk to.
It's also the weekend of Holy. Everyone, Holy. Happy Holy.
Oh, today's Holy Saturday.
Oh, and Holy Saturday, which I think is funny. Holy is the Vedic Indian holiday. Yeah, thank you. And thank you all for coming. I'm reading the comments. Thank you all for saying such fabulous things. Hi, cousin Tommy, who's also a songwriter. We'll have to get him on Composers Cafe. Okay. But you did have shoulder surgery, right? Yes. That's what I...
it hurts.
Hi, Donna.
What a story.
And it was the true also the thing with I was so close and so lucky because there were a lot of kids taken to places and they just disappeared in the first part of the movement because
Was really
they
well told.
just
Really well written.
showed up dead, suddenly they're if you look at some it was I mean I didn't realize that at that time. You realize afterwards.
You know, my neighbors are here and they probably moved here same time you did.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh, really? Romanian
I was
also.
crying with I was crying. This story was so moving.
Yeah, I kind of feel
Thank you.
came back a lot of.
Thank you. And
I have to hear this story.
Oh, you got to go back. Oh, I'm gonna turn off recording. Thank you, everybody, for joining.